Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome, devotee.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
Happy
Sorry for joining late.
Sankrant. No problem, no problem. Happy Sankrant, happy Lodi. Different places, different names. Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome, devotee.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Shall we start, Mataji?
Sadhu Seven Prabhu, you have joined with two devices? Prabhu? Sadhu Seven Prabhu? Can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
You have joined with two devices?
Yes, Mataji. I have come with the. Actually, Pawan Prabhuji is our very close, very dear neighbor, and I had to come to their house in the evening, so I'm still here. So joining the meeting from their house only, Mataji. And,
Okay. No issues.
Yes.
So, yeah. Prabhu, by the time you start Mangalacharan, I think people will start joining. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I will leave because I'll be going out now.
Sure, Mataji, sure. We just setting the laptop. We are almost ready. Yeah. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। So welcome you all, Prabhujis and Matajis. Please accept my respectful obeisances and sorry for joining a little late. I'm going to share my screen. And am I audible, Matajis?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Beats 4.16. So we are almost there. Yeah, ready. So we are going to read how Prithu Maharaj was glorified, and with the it is called, one of the name of the Lord is Uttam Shloka. Uttam Shloka means one who is glorified with the chosen words, one of the meaning, and it is referred to Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we will see many like very selective verses describing the glories of Prithu Maharaj. So we will begin with the fourth verse. There are, once again, as we always, before we start, there are the things that we are going to learn today includes, there is only one object of worship, and he should be given our complete focus, complete dedication. So all we have is these senses, which is nothing but the matter, right? So we are using these senses on the sense objects. But when these sense objects are used in the service of the Lord, then everything becomes transcendental. We must accept. Before this class, I was just reading one small but very interesting book by His Grace Dinabandhu Prabhu, who is a Pakka Vrajvasi, has been there in Vrindavana for last 30 years. He has written a book, Vrajalila. There are 2 volumes currently available. Third one is about to come. So first volume, introduction, first page. It says, Krishna never leaves Vrindavana even for a moment. And then it was mentioned like there are, I mean, the similarity that I wanted to get from there is like Krishna does not take even one step outside the Vrindavana. And then the immediate thought that came in my mind was, Krishna never leaves our and he's a constant companion for every living being, whichever form of the life he is in, right? Even if we talk about human life, so-called human life that we are living, he is there inside us, even though we are not clean externally and internally both. But there are 2 types of living that was mentioned in that page. One is moving out for a moment, but then again coming. Okay, one is completely living. So when we think of that line in ourselves, if for a moment the Lord is not inside us, we will not exist. In the form of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, he is there inside us always. And we have heard only that bhajan, right? Mora Mana Vrindavana. But that is what we have heard only in the bhajan. Inside us, there is no symptom of Vrindavana. But still, the Lord is not leaving us even for a moment. Forget about completely leaving. Even for a moment, he is not taking one step outside. And the reason is, even though our love for the Lord. We don't realize that. Same way, when a newborn baby takes birth, he or she like has no love for the mother, but the mother has a love for the baby. Why? What is the proof? Will we ever pass urine and stool in the lap of someone whom we love? So the baby does not even know about the love for the mother, but the mother is mother. So are you getting a lot of noise? Is it manageable? Because there are some kindly, is it manageable, or it should be reduced?
Yes, Prabhu, manageable.
Manageable. We can hear you, Prabhuji.
Is okay? Okay. Let me just still request, because just give me a second. I'm just requesting. I'm in one of devotee friend's house today, so there are people outside there talking. Just give me a second. I'll just ask. नहीं sorry for that. So we as that same baby does not have the love for the Lord, but the Lord has love. So when we chant, we don't know what is the importance of chanting. This morning, all this what we are discussing is a foundation on which we are going to build up today's discussion. So we are still on the track. Now, this morning there was a class about Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami speaking about Parikshit Maharaj saying, if we do atonement for the sinful actions that we do, what is the point? Because the tendency to perform the sins still remains. And then Shukdev Goswami was testing Parikshit Maharaj whether he is okay to perform atonement for all kinds of sins. And then he said no, he was not okay. Because what is the point of doing the atonement when we don't realize how important and why we are doing atonement? If it is only for the sake of just doing it as a mechanical thing, then what do we learn from there? And the beautiful answer that I got from His Grace Varada Krishna Prabhu, who was giving the class in the temple today, Bangalore. So he told, even though we don't realize the importance, we should still do it. Srila Prabhupada says, fake it until you make it. So Krishna knows the importance of that. And then that is the meaning of the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We do it even though we don't realize the importance of it. And then with time, when we continue praying to the Lord that please involve all my senses into the service of the Lord, the senses gets purified. The same material senses on the same material objects, but now when performed out of love, turns everything into transcendental. And when the senses are purified, anything that we see will remind us of Krishna. Because Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, right? Everything is coming from him. If everything is coming from him, why is not everything reminding us of him? It's a question. And then the answer of this is 15.15. He gives us the remembrance. He gives us the forgetfulness. So when we are praying, everything has come from him. If he is reminding us, how can we forget now also? Right? So, and then when we start remembering of the Lord all the times, 24/7 into 365, into say 100 years, right? Anything what we do is devotion service. And then anything we speak becomes the prayers, becomes the glorification of the Lord. A glimpse of that, what we are going to see today. Now we start with the 4.16.4, the first verse. So, as usual, I'm okay either way. I can read the. Mataji, Archana Mataji, I see your hand. You want to read the translation or the verse also?
Prabhuji, I want to read the verse also.
All right, Mataji, please read. And
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
येषा धर्मभृतां श्रेष्ठो लोकं धर्मे अनुवर्तयन् गोप्ता च धर्मसेतूनां साष्टा तत्परिपन्थिनाम्. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. This king, Maharaja Prithu, is the best amongst those who are following religious principles. As such, he will engage everyone in the pursuit of religious principles and give those principles all protection. He will also be a great chastiser to irreligious and atheistic. Purport. May I read the purport also, Prabhuji?
Yes, Balaji. We'll continue.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The duty of the king or the head of the government is described very nicely in this verse. It is the duty of the governmental head to see that people strictly follow a religious life. A king should also be strict in chastising the atheists. In other words, an atheistic or godless government should never be supported by a king or governmental chief. That is the test of good government. In the name of secular government, the king or governmental head remains neutral and allow people to engage in all sorts of irreligious activities. In such a state, people cannot be happy despite all economic development. However, in this age of Kali, there are no pious kings. Instead, rogues and thieves are elected to head the government. But how can the people be happy without religion and God consciousness? The rogues exact taxes from the citizens for their own sense enjoyment, and in the future, the people will also be so much harassed that, according to Srimand Bhagwatam, they will flee from their homes and country and take shelter in the forest. However, in Kali Yuga, democratic government can be captured by Krishna conscious people. If this can be done, the general populace can be made very happy. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thanks a lot, Mataji. Krishna. So we learn about how the society will function if we start saying everything under the name of secularism. Okay, secularism is what? It is something like there is a big family and the head of the family is secular. Okay, so how the secularism applies to the nation, we are going to understand how it is going to get applied in this example, what we are discussing. Head of the family decides, I'm going to give full freedom to all the family members in my house. One child says, I don't want to brush my teeth. Okay, no problem. Second one says, yesterday or day before yesterday only I took bath. I don't want to take bath. Okay, no problem. And then basically, whichever member wants to lead their life in their own way, thinking what is good for them, we are allowing it. There is no direct relation between secularism and this. What I'm trying to say is, to lead the life, religion is made. It is not to harm us, not to unnecessarily bind us. Okay, it is to show us a way how to live our life. Same way in this house example, how important brushing the teeth and going to school and taking bath is. We cannot imagine how these small things help in us becoming a good citizen. And now on a higher scale, religion is so important. Without that, we will not have any direction in the life. And then here comes the most important part. The leader of the society is telling you decide the way how you want to live your life. I will not stop you. Okay? And then if everybody is directionless, because the one who is supposed to show the direction is not showing, everybody will be directionless. It will be so much havoc in the society. One man's desires will be a trouble to other men, and vice versa, and then whole society in this mode. How can the society be happy? And then the government, with all due respect, because they are helping us. Without them, we will not be able to practice our Krishna consciousness the way we are trying to do it today. With all due respect, message is very clear. Okay, Srila Prabhupada says, if some Mayavadi philosopher says, this is also good, this is also good, both are same. Prabhupada said very strictly, no, we must tell, yours is not good, ours is the best. If we start accepting everything, then it fades away the importance of the right path. All paths will not go to Krishna. Only if we choose the right path, follow it, practice it very seriously, then only we can go to the right direction. Otherwise, it is all secularism in the nation, secularism inside us. Everything is okay. Today I'm not feeling like chanting, right? This is now, we discussed on the scale of nation, we discussed on the scale of a family. Now we are discussing it inside us. I slept very late. I'll not do my chanting. Today I'm tired. After 5 days of struggle from Monday to Friday, finally the weekend has come. Right? His Grace Gaur Gopal Das Prabhu, one of his very interesting lecture, he used to tell, if we go from, say, Delhi to Vrindavan, it is about 150 kilometer. Vrindavan to Delhi, 150 kilometer. If we climb stairs, 20 stairs going up, 20 stairs coming down. But Monday to Friday, it's 5 days. Friday to Monday is only 2 days. Right? So coming back to the point, like, everything is not acceptable. Only the right things are acceptable. If we start giving grants to ourselves, that is fine. Then we very soon we will not find ourselves anywhere. We'll be just confused. So a leader is required to show the right direction to the society. In the name of secularism, we are losing the direction, which is not good for the nation, which is not good for the family, and not for the oneself. So, and if this happens, then people will be, because they will be charging so much tax, which will be used in the sense gratification of the government people. People will feel, they will start finding different ways to cheat. It will come forward in the next verse. So before we go to the next verse, I just want to mention about one line from Srimad Bhagwatam, first canto, first chapter, verse number 17 or 18, where Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport that the government keeps on making the plans and they don't have the eyes to see that their plans are getting failed. It is something very deep. If our plan is failing, it needs a lot of courage to accept that, yes, it did not work. It needs a lot of humility to accept our own mistakes. But then, if we don't see our mistakes, it means we are bound to fail again and again and again. And whatever things we come up with, if Krishna is not in the center, then it cannot last long, because everybody wants peace in the society, but I should be the establisher of the peace. And if everyone wants this, how can the peace be there? Because everyone wants himself or herself to be the establisher of the peace. So the peace becomes secondary. Establisher, who is establishing it, becomes the more important thing. It cannot work. Yes. Next verse we'll go. Not able to use my, yeah, it's working. 4.16.5, and then I see the next hand of Divya Desai Mataji.
देशवैलोकपालानां बिभर्ते कस्तनौ तनोः काले काले यथा भागं लोकयोरुभयोर्हितम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The king alone in his own body will be able to due course of time to maintain all living entities and keep them in a pleasant condition by manifesting himself as different demigods to perform various departmental activities. Thus, he will maintain the upper planetary system by inducing the populace to perform Vedic sacrifices. In due course of time, he will also maintain this earthly planet by discharging proper rainfall. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The demigods in charge of the various departmental activities that maintain this world are but assistants to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When an incarnation of Godhead descends to this planet, demigods like the Sun God, the Moon God, or the King of Heaven, Indra, all join him. Consequently, the incarnation of Godhead is able to act for the departmental demigods to keep the planetary system in order. The protection of the earthly planet is dependent on proper rainfall, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, sacrifices are performed to please those demigods who are in charge of rainfall. Ananda bhavanti bhutani prajanyad anna sambhavaha yannad bhavati parjanyo yanha karma samudbhavaha. All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, Mataji, can we give chance to next Mataji, because this is a long purport?
As indicated.
Hare Krishna, Divya Mataji.
You cannot hear me, Prabhuji?
No, Mataji, no. We were able to hear you. I'm asking, can we give a chance to the next devotee? Because
Can I read the next sloka, Prabhuji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare
Or
Krishna.
you want me to read the purport?
Dandavat Pranam.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you, Divya Mataji. So, Krishnamurti Prabhuji, you want to read the purport from here? And
Yes,
next one can give to Sindhu Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, by all means. Thus, the proper execution of yajna, sacrifice is required as indicated herein. King Prabhu alone would induce all the citizens to engage in such sacrificial activities so that there would not be scarcity or distress. In Kali Yuga, however, in the so-called secular state, the executive branch of government is in the charge of so-called kings and presidents who are all fools and rascals, ignorant of the intricacies of nature's causes and ignorant of the principles of sacrifice. Such rascals simply make various plans which always fail, and the people subsequently suffer disturbances. To counteract this situation, the Shastras advise Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti Eva Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva Gatir Anyatha. Thus, in order to counteract the unfortunate situation in government, the general populace is advised to chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So, yes, we have discussed a part of this in the previous verse. So, here, this point, I think we can emphasize more. So, the demigods are the in charge of various departments' activities, right? And that these activities maintain the world. Okay, and they are the assistants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, in again, first canto, first chapter, third verse, second verse, Dharma Projita Katava, that verse. There it mentions that we are, people used to do like follow the Vedas, do the sacrifices, because it was helping them to get heavenly planets position, and then that was the motivational factor. But now in the society, because we have got access to many of the things which were not easily accessible. I think we covered a part of this last week also. So people are not looking forward to any of the sacrifices or Vedas, okay, because they feel they can remain happy without that. So the point is, there is a chain. Okay, there are different demigods: sun god, moon god, king of heaven, right? And one second. Yeah. So when we, there is a shloka, right? Srimad Bhagavad Gita of 5.29, right? Bhokta Ram Yagya Tapasam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the ultimate benefactor. So even if we offer the results of the sacrifices to the demigods, ultimately the results are sanctioned by the Lord, and He is the ultimate benefactor. But now, when we stop doing these sacrifices, then the chain breaks. The chain which is based on the foundation of faith, if it is not there, there is no point of we living a life of human. It is like as good as an animal life, because the same sense gratification which we are doing in the form of human are no more than, in fact, worsen than what the animal does. They can do it even more efficiently with their senses. The things like birth, what is it? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These things are more efficiently done by the animals. So the only difference which makes us as human being is the ability to understand the scriptures. If we call mother cow is the most worshipable, right, among all the animals. But is it possible we call 20 cows and give them a Bhagavatam class? No, it's not possible, because the animal form of life is not meant to understand the scriptures. There may be exceptions. We will be seeing in so and so Bhagavatam class, one ox came and he was there for 7 days. But exceptions are not the basis. Exceptions are exceptions. It can happen, right? That Jad Bharat example also we know, right? Previous life he was deer. So using exceptions, we should not deviate from the main principle. Principle is human life meant for scriptures to invoke our love for the Godhead, and we should use it for that purpose. And then if our foundation of faith is broken, then there is no difference between us and human. Demigods will not get their share of sacrifices. The things will things will not happen on the time. Either there will be more rain, no rain, and then this is what we see around us in the society. We go to the next verse now. Yes, let me see who else. Yeah, Sindhu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
4.15.6 Vasukala upadhate kale chayam vimunchati sama sarveshu bhuteshu pratapan suryavad vibhu Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This King Prithu will be as powerful as the sun god, and just as the sun god equally distributes the sunshine to everyone, King Prithu will distribute his mercy equally. Similarly, just as the sun god evaporates water for 8 months and during the rainy seasons return it profusely, this king will also exact taxes from the citizens and return these monies in terms of need. Should I read the purport?
Yes, Mataji, you can read. You can read the purport.
Purport by Devendra Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The process of tax exaction is very nicely explained in this verse. Tax exaction is not meant for the sense gratification of the so called administrative heads. Tax revenues should be distributed to the citizens in times of need during emergencies such as famine or floods. Tax revenues should never be distributed amongst governmental servants in the form of high salaries and various other allowances. In Kali Yuga, however, the position of the citizens is very horrible because taxes are exacted in so many forms and are spent for the personal comforts of the administrators. The example of the sun in this verse is very appropriate. The sun is many millions of miles away from the earth, and although the sun does not actually touch the earth, it manages to distribute land all over the planet by exacting water from the oceans and seas, and it also manages to make that land fertile by distributing water during the rainy season. As an ideal king, King Prithu would execute all this business in the village and state as expertly as the sun. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So that is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purport. We should be very, very grateful because these purports that we read are actually a condensed form of the summary by our all previous acharyas. Prabhupada most often quotes the purport from his this one, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, right? So when we read the purport of Srila Prabhupada, the best example out of everywhere in the current context, Prabhupada brings that and makes the things very clear. So sun's example is, like as mentioned, it is very, very appropriate. Why? Because of multiple reasons. Reason number one, sun is equal to all. Even if a place is filthy, right? Sun does not get impacted by that. Even that filthy urine someplace, that also evaporates and becomes pure without sun getting impacted. And then, because it is not possible, right, to take the water from ocean and fill the whole country, for the grains. How much we can do with the artificial means? But the sun does it very equally. So what we need to understand from here is King Prithu, being an ideal king, as mentioned in the last line of the purport, he would execute all the business, okay, all this business, and then he ensures that the things happens and the rain happens and people are happy, they are practicing their varnashrama and the society is moving ahead. See, we are not a king of forget a country, forget a city, forget a street, forget the house, forget ourselves. We are not the king. Why we are not king? Jivare Swarup Hoy Krishnere Nityadas. Our nature is to be servant. If the king does his duties as a servant, there is no amount, there is no limit to the progress that the society can make. But when our selfish interest starts coming into the picture, it puts a question mark on our own progress and the people whom we are guiding. So the point is, we need to be accepting the fact that nothing is in our control. it is said how we can relate it to our chanting also. When it is said that we should be hearing our own japa when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are supposed to hear our own chanting. And Srila Prabhupada says, our attempt, sincere effort to hear is also offenseless chanting. This very word, offenseless chanting, is very, 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 very important in our life. Because when we start doing offenseless chanting, then we will see the impact of Mahamantra on our heart even more early, more closely. We spend our life years after years and decades after decades doing chanting and ask the question, why the effect is not coming? Because we are doing it offensively. And when we do it offensively, how we can expect the positive return? Even though the holy name is very merciful, the treatment is happening inside. We don't have the eye, right? We discussed that example. Government does not have the eye to see how their plans are failing. Similarly, even though the holy name is doing its work, we don't have the eye to see how it is doing. More we surrender. Point is very simple. We have to hear. If we can hear, great. If we are trying to hear, still okay. Why? Because it is considered offenseless chanting. And then at least one outcome of trying to hear our own chanting will be, we will start accepting how I can consider myself so great. I'm telling my mind so many times to please don't interfere when I'm chanting. And even when uninvited, it is coming again and again and not letting me just hear. When we start feeling that we are not the controller, we are the servant, then we become the king. I hope I'm able to convey the message. A king is one under whose instruction the things execute. When we have accepted ourselves, we are not the controller. We have to depend only on the mercy of Krishna. Then we become an instrument in the hand of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supermost king. And hence, we become a mini king in his hand. And when supermost king is helping a small king, things will work. But if we do it independently, we will always be seeing it failing and not seeing it. The last verse of the day, 7th. And I have seen one hand of Mataji, Her Grace, Navakishwari, Devidasi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Mataji.
Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji. May I recite shloka, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Mataji, yes. Shloka translation, purport, all yours. Shloka yours.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Titikshaktyakramam vainya uparyakrahtamapि bhutanam karunah shashva dartanam kshiti vrittiman. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This King Prithu will be very kind to all citizens, even though a poor person may trample over the king's head by violating the rules and regulations. The king, out of his causeless mercy, will be forgetful and forgiving. As a protector of the world, he will be as tolerant as the earth itself. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Prithu is herein compared to the compared to the earthly planet as far as his tolerance is concerned. Although the earth is always trampled upon by man and animals, it still gives food to them by producing grains, fruit, and vegetables. As an ideal king, Maharaja Prithu is compared to the earthly planet. For even though some citizens might violate the rules and regulations of the state, he would still be tolerant and maintain them with the fruits and grains. In other words, it is the duty of the king to look after the comforts of the citizens, even at the cost of his own personal convenience. This is not the case, however, in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the kings and heads of the stage enjoy life at the cost of taxes exited from the citizens. Such unfair taxation makes the people dishonest, and the people try to hide their income in so many ways. Eventually, the state will not be able to collect taxes, and consequently will not be able to meet its huge military and administrative expenses. Everything will collapse, and there will be chaos and disturbances all over the state. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanapad. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Krishna. So I want to quote an example of Dashrath Maharaj here. So Ram Navami, sorry, not Navami, that Rama Mandir is coming next Monday, right? A week away. So let us take an example from Ramayana. Maharaj Dashrath was not able to meet Vishwamitra when he came to see him in his palace. Maharaj Dashrath missed to get his darshan and he missed to attend him basically. From that day, he decided he will be fasting. He will be fasting until he sees Vishwamitra again. And so he continued fasting for a year. Same Maharaj Dashrath, when heard the news of Lord Ram leaving, decided that he cannot live without him, and then left his body. Maharaj Dashrath, before getting the son as Lord Ram and Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughan, before that he had a daughter named Shanta. And then I cannot recall the name of a sage who is known by Janaka Maharaj, not by Dashrath directly. So he asked, looking at the girl Shanta, that from today she is like my daughter and I want to take care of her. He immediately gave. Those were the kings. They knew their responsibilities. They were so much courageous. And they had so much big heart. For anybody, okay, forget about the sages. For anybody in the kingdom, they will give it like their own son. Now, let us take an example in mundane world. Okay, think of a very, very, very experienced professor in a university. Day one of the college, new year starts, new batch is coming. Okay, all the students may not be very obedient. They are seeing the college life for the first time. They may be behaving in any manner. But the professors are very calm. Most of the times, almost always. They know They are the kids. They just come in the college for the first day. Very soon, they will, because it all happens how mature the professor is. Okay. If the professor doesn't really have any patience, he will take the immediate action and he'll complain and things will worsen, and then constant competition, right? To show each other down. We will connect it to today's example, but also right after this example. So if the professor is very calm, very mature, he knows what he is going to teach in the subsequent days will create so much of interest that if there are 50% interested students, say 80 or 90% will become more interested. Remaining 10%, he will have a different plan. Remaining 2%, he will have a different plan. Last child in the class, he will have a different plan. But the maturity is so much so that the professor is never getting influenced whatever actions the kids in the class are performing. Similarly, now we are coming back to the purport. If the king is so mature, he knows ultimately what is good for the citizens. So looking at the good behavior of the king, people will start following themselves. In the time of Lord Rama, every house outside they used to keep water if somebody is passing by and they feel thirsty in the golden pots, actual golden pots, not the gold plated. They used to keep that big vessels covered, and the people or the brahmanas passing by will drink the water, and they had the option, they could take the vessel with them. Nobody took, they kept it back. People are satisfied. If we are sure we will be taken care in our bad times, because so many have been taken, why will we unnecessarily accumulate? Even if we accumulate, the tendency will reduce with time. It is the fear of uncertainty which is creating, well, these are excuses the devotees never need to, but if we still try to be practical, so-called practical, right? Point is what? Point is the king or the professor has to be so much mature. He knows these are the thoughts which comes in the mind of the citizens or in the new class, new beginner of the college. He has seen it so many times, and he has full confidence on how he is going to bring everyone on the path of Krishna consciousness. See, this is also related directly to the preaching is the sense. Okay, Srila Prabhupada always says, right? Preaching is the sense. We are not here just to learn, practice it ourselves, and then go back alone, back to Godhead. If Prabhupada would have done the same, we would not have been discussing it today here. When we follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada by helping others to know, and then when it is spread further, then our faith increases. And when this is the entire show of faith, Nama Hatta shop opened by, there is a very nice bhajan by Nityanand Prabhu, where Bhakti Vinod Thakur says it is the Nama Hatta shop. The currency is faith. And when we preach others about the Lord Krishna, if the currency is faith, the commission will also be faith. Our faith increases. So we need to be calm, composed, have full faith on Krishna. We may not have any plan. He can give us any idea, anytime, any situation we are into. Okay. Even bad time will go and good time both will go. What will remain in our heart is a remembrance for the Lord. So let us use this human form of the life more intelligently by surrendering unto the Lord. Any small amount of progress that we do, it is a permanent progress. Neha bikarmo nasho asti, right? Bhagavad Gita 2.40. It can save us from the greatest danger. People around us are those innocent souls who do not know this knowledge. It's not like we have realized, but at least we know. Theoretically, we know. When we see people applying it, their life transforming, trust me, and no need to trust me, trust Srila Prabhupada. Things will transform for us also. Srila Prabhupada says, fake it until you make it. Try until we realize it. Because when we stop trying, realization goes even far away. Trying may not give us the realization, but not trying will definitely not give us the realization. So best deal out of all the combinations is trying with the full faith. And during this process, Ragatmika Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti have Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti before that, right? So we have to try even if we don't like, even if we are feeling it, austerity, tapasya, even if it is bodily pain, we know ultimately it is good. So King Prithu's example of being tolerant like Mother Earth, even though children are not, some of the children are not doing their things as the way they are supposed to do. So we are done with the last verse of the day. Sorry for joining late and taking another 4 minutes to wind up. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, please feel free. Otherwise, we are done for the day. Okay. Thank you so much, Sojis and Matajis, for your association. Kindly pray that I follow what I am saying. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila
Prabhupada ki jai. Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.